Everyone, Mrs. M back here to do another recipe with you. Now today is Remembrance Sunday and we're going to be using a World War II rationed recipe for you, and we're going to be doing a spice mixed fruit roll. Now this is steamed in, would you believe, a baked bean tin. Fantastic. And it has no eggs and no sugar, which is obviously why, because that was rationed back in World War II. So let's get started. As always, wash our hands as I've done, and let's show you the ingredients. Right guys, so for our ingredients, we've got 225 grams of plain flour. We've got 100 grams of butter, which has been frozen. We're going to grate that in. We've got half a teaspoon of baking powder. We're going to have 4 tablespoons of the dried fruit, 1 teaspoon of the ground mixed spice. We're going to have 2 tablespoons of the golden syrup, which is going to be warm. We're then going to have a pinch of salt, and obviously at the front here, as you can see, we've got our 2 baked bean tins, which are going to be well greased, and in the bottom they've got just a circle of greaseproof paper. Right, let's get started. Right guys, so we want to start with our flour, and we want to take our pinch of salt, just a little pinch, our baking powder, so that was half a teaspoon, me and my magic spoons again. We'll get there in the end, guys. Half a teaspoon of our baking powder, our butter, which we're going to have to grate in. We'll do that in a second. And then 4 tablespoons of our mixed dried fruit. 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's one. Then we've got our mixed spice, and we want 1 teaspoon of that. Oh, it's me making a mess again. There you go. 1 teaspoon of our mixed ground spice. Right. And then we're going to grate our butter in. Now this I've put in the freezer. Now it says in the recipe that you can use suet as well if you want to, but I had butter, so I just used that. Right, while we're grating the butter in, I'm just going to warm my 2 tablespoons of syrup up as well. Get that going while we're doing it. Right, let's grate the butter in, which is something I've never ever done. Grated butter, but there you go. We are doing it. All for the good of the recipe. There we go. Like I said, very strange, grating in butter, but there we go, we're doing it. Told my children all about this recipe and they are really looking forward to eating it. So let's hope it turns out okay. Trying very careful to do this without getting my fingers grated. Okay, so there we go. That's all the butter grated. Let's just pour some out there as well, look. Okay, that's done. Just give my hands a little rinse. Go. Right, so now my syrup's nice and warm, and what you want to do is you want to add that to the mixture. Like so. And then you want to give it a mix. Now, as mentioned before, this was from a World War II rationing recipe book. So obviously it's got no eggs in it and no sugar in it, because they were 2 of the things that were heavily rationed back in World War II. So now what you want to do is you want to add water in a little at a time until you make a soft cake-like consistency. As you can see at the minute, it all looks very dry. So we want to add our water. Oh, splashing it about everywhere. Together a bit better now. I'll just add a tiny little bit more. Still a little bit thick, as you can see, so I'm going to just keep adding my water till I think it's at the right sort of consistency that I like, which I would say is about now. Soft cake consistency. That to me is sort of cake batter consistency. Right, so when you've done that, we're going to prepare our tins now. So I've already got the 2 baked bean tins ready, and they've got their little circle of greaseproof paper in the bottom. Now what you want to do is you want to get some butter or spread, whichever you've got, and you want to give them a really good grease all inside. So let's get lots of this. Just to obviously make it so that the pudding doesn't stick. Just being careful obviously of the tops of the tins because they will still be quite sharp. Don't want any accidents. Okay, now when you've done that, you also want to get yourself some greaseproof paper. Let's get rid of that one, because that we're going to get some greaseproof paper to go over the top as well once we've spooned our mixture in. Don't need very much, just a little bit. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to equally separate it over the 2 tins. Now, you only want to fill it 3/4 of the way full, because obviously it expands. So give it a little tap. Push down as well, make sure you've got enough in there. Like so. Open that one, I think. Off. Like I said, again, making sure you scrape all the edges of the bowl, get all of it out. And a separate spoon to scrape it off of this one. It's lovely to think as well, we're doing things how they would have done it back in the day. You know, my grandmother, and also her mother as well. Right, so that's all done. They're all filled and ready to go, as you can see. Right, so what you want to do now is you want to place some of this on the top. And then you also want to put some foil on top of that, and then we're going to tie it. So just pull these round here like so. And then we're going to get our foil, wrap that round. Wrap that on the top as well. Like so. The same with this one. There we go. And then we're going to tie it on. So I've got a little bit of elastic here. Now you can just use string, it'd be just as good. Now will be the job of finding where the scissors are. I never find things in my house. Okay, might just have to be a knife then. Let's just use a knife. So let's tie it to start with. So we'll tie one, and like I said, I'm using elastic, so just tie it like so. You want to tie it quite tight, obviously, so that our tops don't come off. So, excuse me using a sharp knife for this, but there we go, that's one done. And then we'll tie this one as well. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to have enough for that. Might have to find something else for that one. Yeah, that's definitely not going to go around there, so I'm going to have to find a little something else. Right, so anyway, once they're both tied, we're then going to transfer them to our steamer. So let me show you what I've done with my steamer. Right guys, so here obviously we've got our conventional steamer, but what we're going to have to do is jiggy it about a bit because our tins won't fit in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply place the tins like this into the steamer, and then I'm going to cover it with the other part of the steamer upside down. So the tins are in, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this one there, and I'm going to place it upside down on top like so, and then put the lid of the steamer on top of that like so. So you're going to have that kind of thing, okay? Now obviously there's water in the bottom and everything else. This has got to be steamed for 2.5 hours, so you are going to need to regularly check that the water is topped up, okay? So I'm going to get mine started. We'll check back in with you when they're done. See you soon. Right guys, so it's been 2.5 hours and these are my steamed puddings out of their tins. Now, if I'm 100% honest, they don't look that appetizing, but I'm guessing, you know, with no eggs and no sugar, that's probably why. But they smell okay. So no word of a lie guys, me and my husband just tasted a bit of this, and to say it was revolting would be an understatement. But I'm going to upload the video anyway. I think you guys should see it, and I think we should do it in memory of all the people that actually had to eat it. So try the recipe, enjoy it. Like I said, give it a try. Feel free to send me some comments and pics of how yours have all turned out. And please like, share, subscribe and comment. I shall see you all soon. Bye.